everybody. Welcome to another episode of AWS She Builds Tech Skills North America. I'm Candace, and today I am joined by my lovely co-host, Brittany. Thanks for joining another show with us. So today we're going to be talking about internships. We have three amazing Amazon Future engineers who were interns this last summer, and they're going to talk a bit about their experience and teach us what they learned over the summer. So we're really excited to have them on the show.
It is very exciting. And Candace, maybe we should start and talk a little bit about our intern experience and kind of see what it was like. I know for me it was quite a while ago, but internships are always quite interesting. So how about you? Any fun, interesting stories about your internship days?
Yeah. So also anyone who's watching, let us know what your favorite internship was. Like, what did you do for your internship and how did that help you in your real job and things like that? I had one main internship outside of the university, and I worked for a contract DoD company. The name has changed like 5 times, and so it doesn't even matter the name of it. But I got to go to an Army base, which was like 45 minutes away from my hometown, and we worked on different radar systems. So the radar system that I got to be part of, the software of it fit in a backpack and the Marines used it. And then you would go, so it's in your little backpack. It's pretty heavy, but it's in your backpack. And then you go and you set it up and it could figure out where the mortars were coming from. So Brittany, to your point, this was a few years ago. And so technology has come really far since then. But yeah, I worked on these radar systems. So it was really interesting to work with the former Marines, and I had to learn a new programming language, which I thought was going to be super hard. It was easy. So yeah, it was fun though. I learned a lot that summer. How about you? What was your favorite internship?
I did nothing with tech. So one of my, we'll call it shadow internships, was actually going around a hospital in the radiology department and learning all the different machines and things that were going on there because I was pre-med. And then my other internship was actually in actuarial services. So that was quite fun. A lot of math. I did marketing and sales for them. So it was very different. My final internship was actually where I stayed for a majority of my career so far. And that was in sales with Northwestern Mutual. And then I went into tech after that. So very different.
Yeah. But again, I like it when we can highlight those, not like a meandering path to get you to tech. I think it's really important to kind of highlight some of those. Also, I don't know if you saw my nerd eyes light up when you said actuary science, that was a thing that I kind of thought that I wanted to do. I did a year of calculus-based statistics in school because math, and I loved that. I kind of thought that that's what I was going to do. But I am happier. I think I never tried that actually, but I think that tech is a better environment for me, just with all of the learning that you have to do. I love being an SA because you have to kind of translate between people and different groups, and I like talking. That's why I'm on the show. So anyways, I think I landed in the right place overall. And yeah, happy to be here. And I'm happy you're here too, Brittany.
Yeah. I will tell you though, the actuarial services internship was fun. I liked it. I just didn't like it working in such a small office. So there was only 6 total people in the entire office, including myself. So it was just very small. I did love the data, and I still love data to this day. So it's not anything different. It's just applying it in a different way. But you have to test the waters. And I think that's one of the best parts of an internship and taking multiple internships.
Absolutely. Try a big company, try a small company, I didn't know you were pre-med, and we're kind of close. I didn't know that. But
I'm a psychologist by trade. I just don't utilize that degree.
I don't know. You help me sometimes, but I think that's awesome. And I love that we have different programs to help people earlier in their career. We have a She Builds mentorship program. Applications have already closed for that. But that is another part of She Builds that I like to kind of participate in. And then these young ladies who are going to be on our show here in a few minutes, they were part of the Amazon Future Engineer program, which I also didn't realize the breadth of it. Let me drop this little link in here for you. So you can go learn more about it. I read just a little bit, but we actually have initiatives from kindergarten all the way up to first, second year in college. So I think that's amazing that we're kind of like pushing some of that curriculum down to all various ages.
Yeah, we have actually a lot of programs. I will be talking on a panel tomorrow with First T, which is another one of our teen type intern, I would say step into our intern programs potentially. So there's a ton of them out there. First T's one that I know we partner with quite a bit and potentially come over with the Future Engineers type program.
Yeah.
And then it's always fun to work with our different mentees and mentors. I feel like our mentees definitely mentor us and teach us different things as well.
Absolutely. Actually even here 1 year, but in previous jobs, I was very adamant about it. I always wanted to have an intern. Like I was like, please let me have an intern, especially if it could be a female intern, because, we kind of did the same things. Right. And so I always just loved having interns because they're so excited about all the things that they've learned. And this is like their first time touching real code and contributing to a shared repo and things like that. And they're just excited and they teach me things. Like I can't keep up to date with all of the things. I mean, I do try, but they definitely teach us things. And in tech, you have to constantly be learning. So it is definitely a mutually beneficial relationship when you can have an intern when you can have an intern, whether you're mentoring or managing or whatever.
Oh, and you get to celebrate with them. My first intern that I had as a mentee at Amazon is now working alongside me on one of the fellow CSM teams. So it's always exciting when that gets to happen. Celebrate their wins as much as our own.
Exactly. It's almost like a proud mom moment, because it's like we work together and now I'm seeing you as a professional in your career and all of these things that you do. Like, I think that's at least as exciting as, when you get a win, like seeing someone that you mentored get a win, I think is also super exciting.
Oh, I got totally excited. More excited probably than she was, but it's okay.
That's funny. Well, I don't know. Should we play the video? Go ahead and
let's jump into it.
Cue it up. All right. So here comes our 3 Amazon Future Engineer interns, an interview we had with them. And I hope you enjoy. Let us know which parts really resonate with you. So excited to have all of you here with us today. And so as we just kind of kick things off, we'd like to go around the room here and do some intros. So we'd love for each of you to tell us just a little bit about yourself. We would like to know something about your academic background. You're all still in school. One fun fact and kind of where you're from. Why don't we kick things off with Kendall? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Said is Kendall, and I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a student at North Carolina A&T State University as a information technology major. Currently, we're currently going through some stuff, so we might change that major. But one fun fact about me is I love building Lego sets, and I'm currently in Washington State. So when I get home, I hope to start building my guitar Lego set that I have waiting for me.
We've all changed our majors, trust me. Pretty sure I changed mine 3 or 4 times.
How about you, Megan? You want to go next?
Yeah, hi. So my name's Megan. I'm from Racine, Wisconsin, and I'll be a sophomore this year at Wisconsin Lutheran College in Milwaukee. And I'm majoring in computer science and mathematics. And one fun fact about me is that I love watching and playing soccer. I actually just watched a soccer game last night.
Nice. Also math and computer science major, so high five on that one. And last but not least, Vanilla. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. I'm Vanilla. I'm from Fremont, California. I'm an incoming sophomore as well at Harvard University, and I'm studying computer science and economics. And one fun fact about myself is that I love traveling, whether it's with my friends or my family. I'm always a big trip planner. So yeah, looking forward to some of that later this summer.
Awesome. I am a huge avid traveler. If many of you haven't noticed, I have a tattoo actually on my wrist with the world and a plane because I can't sit still. So we'll have to talk about that later. I didn't know that. So that was a fun fact I learned today. I stayed at the company I interned with for 12 years after interning there. I loved it so much. So I know that's not normal nowadays, but it's one thing that I always say. I'm like, you fall in love with internships. And then there were 4 other internships before that internship that I didn't love. So you always kind of, it's like test driving a car, pretty much, as you're test driving the company. With that in mind, I would love to hear a little bit about your experience with working at Amazon during the internship and how you've collaborated with different teams and projects. And Megan, if you would like, we'll start with you first.
Yeah, so I'm currently working on the ship services team as part of the stores organization at Amazon. And the project that I've been working on for the past, it'll be 12 weeks, is to improve weight validations for packages being shipped out of fulfillment centers. And I've done a lot of collaboration within my team throughout this internship, and I've been able to talk to them and ask them questions and get help from them to try to get everything working and functional. I'd say overall at Amazon, I've had a really positive experience. I've learned so much, and it's gotten me such a good look into what it's really like to intern or work at a corporate tech company, and it's been super valuable in that way.
Awesome. Vanilla, how about you?
Yeah, so I worked in the AGI org on the Eureka team in the devices division. So I worked specifically on creating a new indexing vertical for our the Eureka web search engine. I, worked with other team members a lot to make sure my code was super efficient and was consistent with the rest of the team's code, and also learned how to use a lot of AWS services, which was kind of new to me. And I especially enjoyed collaboration in terms of being part of meetings that discussed my project from a bigger picture, which helped me learn a lot about our service and also how our project is relevant to our goals, which was not only motivating, but also kind of just taught me a lot about how a big team functions and how all the pieces fit in together in the bigger picture.
Awesome. Kendall, how about your experience?
So Amazon was my first corporate job, and Amazon is very different because you all have your own language. So coming in, it was very intimidating. Being in meeting for my team, we have stand up, so you tell everybody what you're doing for the day, and if you have any blockers. Half the time, I had no idea what everybody was talking about. I still don't know, and it will be for weeks. But just asking questions. My project specifically is to build a better network for the kickout label system. So the kickout label basically tells what the issue is and how to fix it. It's definitely an experience. Getting adjusted, being in office. It's not just the shipment service team. We also have PAC. So being able to collaborate with them, see what they're working on and how what I am doing affects them and how they're affecting us as well is definitely nice to see.
I can tell you, I still don't know all the acronyms. That is one thing that is going to be so normal no matter where you end up in your career. And I did a big shift in my career coming from financial services over to tech. And everything I learned in financial services doesn't always apply from an acronym perspective. And it's funny enough, I had a call with a customer earlier today, and they're like, so what's the 3-letter acronym we're working on today? And I'm like, all right, I like this.
Yeah. My internship was with the DoD. So you want to talk about acronyms and holy buckets. I had a little dictionary cheat sheet, and sometimes the same acronyms mean different things. Thanks. I love though how you guys have all talked about yes, we're learning tech. You have an internship in technology, but I think one of the things that you really learn as an intern is some of those other parts of it. How do we write code to our coding standards, and developing code on a large team and collaborating outside of your team is something that they don't often teach you in school. So I think that it's really interesting and good that you guys all mentioned some aspect of that. So kind of taking it in, just double clicking in on that part right there, how would you say that this program, this internship that you've had for the summer has helped you in developing those skills to be successful in your future career plans? And we're kind of rotating through. So Vanilla, you get to go first this time.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said, is that definitely learned a lot of technical skills like AWS debugging, how to review code. I learned more about the architecture of an index and a web search service, which was all really cool. But on top of that, I also learned more about just what it means to intern at a corporate company and how these teams function together, which I think was was really fascinating, like how I got to like sit in meetings with our customers or like the people who'd be using the project that I was developing and kind of like fit the project to their needs, because after all, that's like a really big part of Amazon is, being obsessed with how the customer thinks and what they want. That was honestly really cool. One of my favorite parts was being in meetings with people that would actually be using the service that I was building. And also through all of these experiences, I met a lot of really cool people and their own stories were really inspiring and taught me a lot as well.
Yeah, that's great. So now wrapping around to Kendall.
So I would say it helped me decide what I like and what I don't like professionally. Personally, I need to get up and walk around. So like now like every hour I just get up and walk, do a lap around the office. It taught me that I need to be actively doing something at all times. I can't just sit at my desk and stare at the computer for hours on end. But with that being said, it also helped me develop, like, of course we're in college and school, we have projects, but project management, timelines, and how things get pushed back. Sometimes you have to just readjust, being fluid, but you still have a set deadline and how you can maneuver to still get to the point where you need to be.
I really like that both of you have mentioned, like it's going back to Brittany's quote about test driving a car. Like your internship really is like a no risk sort of thing. Like just try it out. I'd encourage you to try a small company next year. Like try financial services, try crypto, whatever. Like try a bunch of things. This is your opportunity to experiment. And so, Kendall, I love that you learned that you don't like to sit down. Well, you don't like to sit down all day long. Me neither. I usually take a break right around this time of the day because I get the sleepy times, and I take my dog for a walk and then come back and do meetings and work and whatnot. So it's really important to learn things about yourself during an internship. So I love that. And then Megan, close us out. How have you been prepared for your future career?
I think first off, it's taught me a lot about, like, since I've had to learn so many like technical hard skills for this internship, I think it's taught me that I can have the capability to learn new systems and new ways of doing things quickly and start using them in a meaningful way within my project. Through that, I've gained a lot of confidence by being here. I think that this has been a really interesting place because of all the communication that you do within your team and with other people, and kind of being put on a path saying, do this project. There's a lot of stuff that you kind of just have to figure out on your own. And it really gained my confidence, showing that like that's possible and you can do it. And that also everyone's going to be backing you up for whenever you need help with anything also.
Absolutely.
So that's the best part. We're test driving cars. That's going to be the theme of this show. Let's go into what was the most valuable lesson or experience gained from the internship. And I know it's a short, fast-paced internship, and there's probably a million things going through your head right now of like what it could be, but what is the most valuable lesson or experience? And Megan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I think one of the coolest things that I've learned is that it's the code that you write is so, like, it seems so small, but it affects so many things, and there's so many people working on like one system. Kendall and I, we got to go to a fulfillment center with our team about a month ago and see all of the code that we were writing, like which machines it was being used in and how it was like being put to use in like the daily life. And it was so cool that there's so many people going into every little aspect of how things are run every day. And also how accountable you need to be both to yourself and to your team of writing quality code and staying on your deadlines and really prioritizing what's important so that all of that can run smoothly also.
It's a true domino effect if you think about it. That is how one of my professors described it many years ago. And it really is, because if you're writing code and you miss one character or one space, you're the tiny little pea in the ocean of different codes that have to be there and available. Vanilla, how about you?
One theme of my internship has been like gaining knowledge or asking questions in order to gain knowledge. Like I feel like I came into this internship super excited, and it was a very new subject that I would be working on, which meant there was a lot that I didn't already know. And like Megan said, it was a lot of like learning on your own and like building the confidence to put it to use and everything. I just realized that like asking questions is a really good way to stay efficient. Like someone on the team will be able to help you move forward, and they'll be actually like happy to do so, because moving forward is also going to help everybody else on the team too. So asking questions, gaining knowledge in that way, and then using that knowledge to do whatever you need to do and like create further knowledge and teach the rest of your team is really just like the biggest deliverable. It's, you know, like as powerful as any code you could write is being able to learn something and then tell the rest of your team that thing so that it can help them move forward faster as well.
So I love that. I have to jump in just for a sec. Like, we need to do better about just not being afraid to ask questions. Like, we as women, we as technical people, like, you actually can't know everything in the whole entire world. And there's nothing wrong with asking questions, checking in, and then there's going to be something else later that you're going to be able to help someone else with. There will be some kind of trade-off, right? Where I can help you and you can help me. So I just wanted to underline that lesson. Sorry to jump in.
Don't be sorry. All right, Kendall.
So to piggyback off what you guys just said, my lesson was it's okay to be clueless, and it's okay to say that you are clueless, and it's better to say it up front than to just sit there and just sit there with your thoughts, feeling bad about yourself because that one question can be answered like that from somebody on your team, and it'll set you ahead, and you can just build upon that. Everything's interconnected at some point. So the smaller things that you need to understand will help you get to where you want to be as far as the code. And that's something that I struggle with. Not that I don't want to ask questions, it's just that I don't know how. And like sometimes I feel as if I don't have the right words to describe what I'm struggling with. Even if you can just show somebody, okay, this is what I'm struggling with, I don't understand it, they can some way lead you in the right direction or maybe lead you to your question.
Yeah, I'm a visual learner as well. So articulating the question for me is one of the hardest things. But if I can show you what I'm looking at and how I'm doing it, just like you're describing, that is the best. So like that's something that you get to learn from yourself. And that took me quite a few, I would say, years to understand that I'm a visual learner and I need to have that aspect of it. And the fact that you know that already is amazing. Well, I know I have to hand it back over to Candace because we have one more question before we have to wrap it up for the day.
So I think I really appreciate your experiences that you've shared with everybody. And I do think that there's learnings in there. But we also like to always pretty much end this show with like, what is some advice that you would like to give to your past self or to the future Amazon future engineers? And let's start with Kendall.
So my advice would be to connect with people, not just on your team, but outside your team. I have talked to people at Kuiper. I've talked to people that work with Prime. Just building those connections. You never know what your next internship or wherever you might want to go. And just making those connections, seeing what other people are doing in the field that might interest you or may not. It's just being open to those opportunities and asking questions and seeking clarification.
Absolutely. You got to network. You should always be looking for your next job. I'm not saying you should leave the company, but you should be thinking 3 years out and say, what do I want to be in? You know, and so it's really good to talk to people and learn more about what they've done. That's great. How about you, Megan? What is your advice to the future engineers?
I would say, kind of going off what you said, you should definitely always be looking out and seeing what you might be interested in, because you might be put on a team on a topic that you just are not really interested in. But there's so many teams, there's so many different things out there in the tech industry, even within Amazon itself, that you could find a passion in and you could find that you love. And I would say another thing is that don't worry too much about where you're going to be in like 10 years. Just focus on working where you are right now. Everything will fall into place. It'll all be okay. But do good work now and the rest will follow.
That's good. And then wrapping us up, Vanilla, what's your big learning?
Something that really helped me make me more efficient is just being mindful of what I'm doing and like the steps that I'm taking in my work. Overall, like being mindful of you know, the entire project and what I'm trying to achieve, and, you know, staying on track for those goals and not getting, you know, sidetracked by anything. But also just like being mindful in like the small things as well, like to make, you know, a certain code succeed. Like, what are the steps I'm taking? At one point I was like documenting things that I was doing for a little while so that I retrace back, and it made debugging so much easier. And in the same way, I think that it helps like keep you on track, and know where the project is going, be really honest about, how long things are taking, or, what are realistic expectations for the project. All of that, like, I feel like just mindfulness like plays into that. Something that like relates closely is just take initiative to learn more about what your team does, about what other people on the team do, and how your project plays a role in that. I think that I learned so much by doing that. It made me more inspired to do an even better job, because I knew how important the project was to everyone else.
It's that greater impact. There's a saying that you shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, amongst the stars. And it's a saying my mom had engraved in a little star for me when I graduated. And I think there's no truer format than that, from when you're going from school to college, or college into corporate world. It's like, really, just shoot for it, try it, go for it. There are 3 themes that came up today. So Candace said something earlier about, oh, you're always really good at the call notes or pulling us back together. So all 3 of you had a ton of LP showcases. So we're going to go with some leadership principles and go very Amazonian for a moment. The number one thing that I've seen that I just want to call out is the ownership that you all had for your projects and the passion you showed for it. So first LP we're going to highlight is some ownership, and how all of you owned your project and had fun with it. So round of applause. We'll do it in the chat. I'm not going to do it too loud, because then The other thing is showing customer obsession. We all talked about the different networking components and cross collaboration, but I think that also showed a level of customer obsession where you're like, I see where my code can impact across and how it can be applied. And that's my favorite LP. I think it's most of Amazon's favorite LP is customer obsession. But last but not least, and I think the biggest one that you all probably impacted, is learn to be curious. The level of learn to be curious, the asking questions, the using new services, maybe using AWS for the first time. It's always awesome to see when you all jump in and dive deep into it. And the fact that you're learning and being curious with us. So you're letting us interview you, so then we can showcase others like ourselves exactly what you could be doing, how you could experience it, because you all took a big leap and you interviewed at an awesome company and you got corporate experience very early on in your college careers, which is always great to do. I don't think I did my first internship till my junior year, so I feel like you all are ahead of the bar on that one. One of the things that we need to do is just thank you all for joining us for the summer and for sharing your experience with us and others like you. And Candace, is there anything else before we close it out officially?
I love it. I would just say that my favorite LP is Learn and Be Curious. So y'all did great on all of those. I think that's how you stay interested in tech, right? You always have to be learning and being curious. So I love that one. And I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed your internship and learned a lot, and were brave enough to be guests on our show. So thank you.
Awesome. So closing it out, this is the AWS She Builds program with our Amazon Future Engineers. So thank you all for joining us today, and have a good day.
All right. Well, welcome back. That was our interview with those 3 amazing future engineers. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like I said before, I love working with interns. I love the enthusiasm, and I thought those ladies were great. So that was a ton of fun. Brittany, do you have like a favorite thing in the interview that you want to highlight?
I think the test driving a car has probably stuck with me way too much. I like my analogies, and I think the internship and test driving a car couldn't go more well together.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think just hearing about the lovely experience that these 3 individuals had and how much they were able to learn in the corporate environment, because I wish I would have done a larger corporate internship back when I had the opportunity to.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we are also lucky enough to have 2 of our 3 interns show back up. I'm going to add you to the stage. Brittany's adding you to the stage.
I hit the buttons faster.
What's that?
I said I hit the buttons faster. Sorry.
It's good. It's good. Keep going. Kendall and Megan, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. You're back home now, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Megan's back at school.
Oh, even more fun. Are you, Kendall, back at school also?
I'm in my dorm room.
Lovely. Well, thanks for taking the time to come and hang out with us for a little bit longer. That is fun. Hopefully it's like only the first or second week of school and you're not actually like missing anything, or we'll write a note to your professors. What class are you most excited about this semester? Let's start with you, Kendall, because you were talking about like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be my thing. What's your favorite class that you're taking this semester?
I am taking Circuits 2, and Circuits 1 was my favorite class last semester, so that's the one I'm looking forward to. And that's pretty much it.
How about you, Megan? What are you excited about?
Oh, Megan, you're muted.
Yeah, I don't hear you. Try again. Still don't hear you. Check in your settings down at the bottom and make sure your sound is coming out of the right spot. And we'll skip you for just a second. We're going to come back to your favorite. Yeah, just keep like knocking and we'll let you know when we can hear you. Kendall, now you got the spotlight, girl, because we can hear you. Did you do a Lego set?
Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned, but I bought a puppy. So
is it in your dorm?
It's not in my dorm room. He was up here yesterday. Like I moved in yesterday.
Okay.
Afternoon. So he was up here. Yeah, we've been trying to like potty train him, get him used to East Coast time. Yeah. So the Lego set has had to be put on the back burner.
That's fine.
But it's like it's sitting on my dresser, so like it's there.
No, let's talk about the puppy. What kind of dog is it?
It's a full-bred poodle, but he's a mowing poodle, which just translates to a medium poodle.
Yes.
His name is Carlton. He's so cute.
Brittany and I both are dog people. My dog is like right here. Her dog, I'm sure, is right behind the B in her name. Yep. And one of my dogs that passed away is a poodle, and I always called her my soulmate. Like I love that dog so much. So we could have a show about dogs if you want to. Also,
yeah. Noelle's a Yorkie poo, so she's poodle and Yorkie. Might need to see if we can get them together at some point.
Funny.
Megan, did we get audio back? No.
Womp womp.
Oh, I hate technology. We'll call it that. Yeah. It has its moments when it wants to work. Yeah, if you want to try in that settings feature and then see if you can switch the different mics under audio, that might be our best bet. But Kendall, I have another question for you. Because you went from school to internship to back to school. How did you like get your mindset and get moving and back in? Because I know you were moving in and out of different locations at the same time that you were going in and out of a corporate office setting into college setting and back and forth.
I don't think I ever left the school to work mindset in general, because I was only home for a total of maybe 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, I was just packing and getting stuff ready for either getting my onboarding things ready for work or getting my class and stuff ready. So I haven't really left it. So I don't have any advice for that. And I also don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because you definitely need like a rest and a break.
You need to take a break now. I think you just need to save yourself homework.
I'm definitely like
Megan, did we get you?
I think so.
We do.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. We hear that.
Okay, how's this?
That's great.
Perfect.
So, are we muted? I'm not muted. Okay. What's your favorite class? What class are you most excited about this year, Megan?
So I'm going to be taking a database systems class, and I'm really interested because it's kind of my first look at like the broader computer science instead of just like doing individual programming. So I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, that was fun. I love data. Like I'm all about data, but the actual like SQL queries and stuff like that, I'm fine when they're like this long, but once they turn into like big big sprucks, it's like a whole thing that just kind of overwhelms me, and I need to pull out my whiteboard and all those sorts of things. So, let's see. The other question that I have for you, Megan, is just like, tell me something about soccer. Like, you watch soccer all the time, you play soccer. Like, my favorite sport's hockey. So there's some comparisons, but like, what's your favorite team? Like, do you play hockey, or do you play soccer at school? Tell me some things.
I played all through middle school and high school, and I was mostly defense, but I have been watching, obviously, the Olympics. That just got over. I was watching all those games, and then I follow the National League pretty closely also.
Okay. I have been to a few of the Loons games here in St. Paul. Like, the stadium's not too far from my house, and they're so much energy. Like that, they're so much fun to be down there, and like there's a whole section where people are just like you have to stand the entire time, and they like sing songs and stuff. It's like the super fan section with no seats. So that's not my jam, but they're super fun shows. Yeah. So what else do we have to kind of
I'm going to ask Megan the same question I asked Kendall. Did you have any downtime in between going back and forth between school to internship to school? Did you do anything to kind of relax for the couple days to weeks you had in between?
I got back home last Monday, and I moved in to college on Sunday. So I had a few days in between, and I got to just see my friends and family and just be home for a bit, which is really nice, and kind of have a little bit of a break before getting back into it.
So are you both settled in your dorms, or are you still in the process of unpacking?
Process.
Yeah, I have some more to unpack.
It doesn't always fully get unpacked for, I would say, the first couple weeks, at least for me when I would move back in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. I moved into this place like 2 months ago, and I still have boxes. They're hidden behind that white thing. Just facts. Well,
all right. So I have one more question for the group. And that question would be, what is one thing that you would tell someone that's considering to applying for the future or Amazon Future Engineers program?
I would say absolutely try it. Absolutely do it. It's a super cool, it's a super fun experience, and there's so much to learn from it. And also, don't be too worried, because I didn't think I was going to get in. I did not think that I had the capability for that, but you never know what's going to happen. And then once you're in it, just remember that you're there for a reason, and everything is a good learning experience from it.
I love that. I think all of us have a little bit of that. Before I applied, just like also want to plus one that before I applied at AWS, I was like, oh my gosh, like, can I really do this? And it turned, you can, like, just try it. You'll find your spot, like your niche where you belong. But I think that sometimes we need that encouragement to just try it. Worst thing is they say no, and then who cares? Like, try the next place. So I love that. Just try it. Yeah.
Kendall, anything you would add?
As you guys said, just do it. Go for it. I didn't think I was gonna get it. I literally, they had a Zoom call where other people were talking who had have gotten it, and one of the girls also made the statement of she didn't think she was gonna get it until she got the package and she opened it. And my experience was pretty much the exact same. I went on the porch expecting, I think, some soap, and opened the package and saw the congratulations. So you never know what's gonna happen, and once you do get in, know you got in for a reason.
Yeah. They like to hire and develop the best, and I think that's a true testament. And I applied for an internship back in Amazon. Didn't get it, but I can tell you 13 years later, I got it, and I got a role I love. So never stop trying, for sure. I love the fact that it's like, just go for it. You never know what you're going to get. So definitely go for it. And Candace, any last minutes before we close it all out?
No, I'm going to put in the plugs for our upcoming shows. You can always go to our Splash That page and see previous shows and then upcoming shows. They're there on the Splash That page if you want to check that out. And you can also like and subscribe to our She Builds channel so that you're notified every time we have new episodes coming out. And the last little thing that I would say is I love interns. I love your bravery. Like you did this, and this is going to be so great for your resume for your upcoming school year. This is a really great experience, and I'm so glad that you got to have it. And then on top of that, like icing on the cake, we're on YouTube and Twitch right now, and we'll be on Spotify as well. So we're going to turn this into a podcast. Keep on sharing it with your networks. And just know that you did great, and we're so glad that you were here with us. So thank you.
Yes, thank you both for your time and dedication to your internship, to taking the time out for the show, and for joining us from your dorm rooms. I know it's like your first week back in, so it's always a fun time trying to get back and settled in. So appreciate you taking the time out of the day, and we will, I'm sure, hopefully hear from you soon, and have a great semester. And thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.